Hello, my name is Jeremy Comel, and I want to talk quickly about troubleshooting. There's a lot of places where errors can happen in any software, and so there's some common places that we'll discuss that hopefully will resolve any issues you have. The first one is when you download the software, you'll download it as a zip file and extract it. If while you're extracting it, it says could not extract blah 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 file extension too long, or something of that note where certain files can't be extracted, then that could cause errors if those files are essential. So that likely might be the source of your error. So in that case, make sure to extract your software to the C drive. That will be the shortest extension range, so hopefully shouldn't have that issue. Another issue is that certain virus protection softwares, especially if you're in government or certain industries, might block certain .dll libraries or certain things that come with FluoroMatch. So make sure if anything's blocked, check with your IT if anything got blocked in FluoroMatch, because that will obviously cause issues as well. The third most common issue is not having the right version of Java. So if you go into FluoroMatch, you'll see the manual, and there's very clear instructions in the manual of what to do, what dependencies you need. So it's built for Windows 10. It works for Windows 11 too, so don't worry about that. You need this Microsoft.NET version, but usually that's fine as well, but this could be a source of issues. But the very common one is you have a 32-bit or no Java on your machine, and then this won't work. So first go to uninstall Java, download the tool, uninstall it, and then install the 64-bit, the Windows Offline version. And that should correct that issue. Usually you'll see if you open up, so if you open up the .bat file, you'll see an error related to Java. You shouldn't see any errors when you open up this .bat file. So if you do see something's wrong right away with your install. Now, after you get it installing, you might run the whole software. This button won't be clickable until you fill out all your parameters. Make sure that you open up some of your vendor files and make sure they're not corrupt. That's another place where errors might occur. So you can use test files. You can download them. We've contributed some to the Massive, MASSIVE. If you look up Massive Mass Spectrometry, there's a database there. Look for Jeremy Comel. You can find some data sets there that you could test. Just to have a nice clean data set to use to test to make sure everything's working correct. And then if your other files aren't working, likely it's because they're corrupt. Now, once you finish running, all of these green bars should be full. And that means that you're done. And you should get a folder that looks something like this. So there's example files in here. If we look at Modular, example output. So you should get something like this with these 4 folders, and then you should get 4 files in here. Maybe it's changed depending on the last release, but this is generally what it should look like. Once this fin file folder is created, then you know that the software is completed, also when all these loading bars are completed. It can take some time, so one of the troubleshooting issues I commonly get emails that it's still processing. Depending on the number of files, it can take hours to days, and the computer that you have. So be patient. Some of the loading bars might stay for a while, especially at this mzmine portion, when it's doing some deconvolution or appending files together. So these can halt for some time, even after, especially here, the data bar reaches here. So another common issue for FluoroMatch Flow. Another thing is RAM. So you always want to check your RAM. So if you go to About on your PC, you click that, and you can see About your system. So here we have 32 gigabytes of RAM. That's pretty commonplace. You probably shouldn't have less if you're doing something like this. And that works for 10, 20, sometimes 30 files. But once you get to more than that, you're going to want to really increase your RAM. So just as a benchmark, we have terabyte RAM systems that we're using for when we have hundreds of data samples that are very rich in spectra. So you can never have enough RAM for this type of work. I recommend maybe for start 256 gigabyte RAMs for a stationary system, at least 512, 256. They can get pretty expensive, but that would be really helpful if you have large data sets. Otherwise, you'll get a crash, so your computer will shut down or be out of memory, headspace issue, so on and so forth. So that's that over there. You do have the manual, obviously, you want to check, make sure you follow through. You have the YouTube manuals to go through to make sure you did everything correct. So read these if you have any issues. There's also a troubleshooting document, although it's mostly for the modular form of this. So one thing that's really great is that we offer trainings. And so we can come on site, we'll make sure all the installation's correct, work out all your issues, and also make sure that your acquisition and every part of your workflow is perfect. So if you're starting from scratch and all this is new to you, or you're advanced and you want to really push yourselves forwards, hiring us to do a training can really push it forward, and you'll have no issues moving forward after that, or much less. There's also, if you saw, there's a secret debug button. So this can be your friend. So let's say all the peak picking and everything worked out, and you'll know that because if you go into, let's say, for example, here, you'll get these two folders. You'll get whatever files were generated here, and then likely an output folder. So when you have this this file that ends in a CSV file in your annotated folder, you know that the peak picking is complete. And that part will often take the longest. So if you're getting errors later on and you want to test but not rerun the peak picking, then you have this debug button. So what you do is you would delete this output folder wherever you outputted it, and it will take in all the parameters for last time it ran. So all you have to do is delete the output folder and click debug after changing your R scripts or maybe setting some libraries to false, whatever you're going to change. So that's a handy option as well. In case you know an issue, there's something simple you can change either in the code, in your file, whatever it may be, and then you click debug and it will rerun.